At 63, I received a certified letter that changed everything. My son, the one I'd trained to run my $42 million marina, had filed to have me declared mentally incompetent. "Dad, this is for your own good," he said over the phone. I replied, "I built this place with my own hands for 40 years. You're not taking it." He laughed. "See you in court, old man." That's when I opened the envelope my late wife had left me. Inside was a letter that began, "If you're reading this, our son has made his move. Welcome, everyone. Before we dive in, I'd love it if you could take a second to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and let us know in the comments where you're watching from today. One more thing, this story contains creative elements designed for entertainment and reflection. Any similarity to actual people or places is unintentional, but the core message, that's 100% true. The certified letter arrived on a Tuesday morning, the kind of envelope that ruins your breakfast before you even open it. I was at my desk in the marina office working through the week's maintenance schedule when Carol knocked and handed it to me. She didn't say anything. Didn't need to. Certified mail at 9 in the morning never brings good news. The return address was a law firm in Providence, Caldwell and Associates. I didn't recognize the name. I opened it with the old brass letter opener Catherine had given me on our 20th anniversary. My hands were steady then. They wouldn't be for long. Emergency petition for conservatorship of the person and estate of Charles Michael Donnelly. I read that line 3 times before my brain would accept what my eyes were seeing. The petitioner's name sat there in black ink, official and devastating: Jordan Thomas Donnelly, my son. According to the document in my hands, I was suffering from declining mental capacity. I was making erratic business decisions. I posed a significant risk to a $42 million asset. I was, the petition claimed, no longer competent to manage my own affairs. A court hearing had been scheduled. Thursday morning, 9 o'clock. I looked at the calendar on my wall. Tuesday. That gave me 2 days. 2 days to prove I wasn't losing my mind. 2 days to figure out why my only son was trying to take everything I'd built. The petition was thorough. Someone had done their homework. There were references to my age, to the fact that I'd been running the marina alone since Catherine died 5 years ago. There were questions about recent equipment purchases, staffing decisions, lease agreements with the sailing school and the marine supply shop. Every decision I'd made in the past 6 months laid out and framed as evidence of incompetence. I tried calling Jordan. His phone rang 4 times and went to voicemail. His voice, casual and friendly, asked me to leave a message. I hung up without saying anything. "What do you say? Son, why are you trying to destroy me?" I called back. Voicemail again. I set the phone down and stared out the window at the harbor. It was a beautiful morning, the kind of day that made people fall in love with Newport. Sailboats rocked gently at their moorings. The water sparkled like Catherine's eyes used to when she laughed. She'd built this place with me, started with a rundown boat repair shop and a dream. 40 years of 7-day weeks of choosing the marina over vacations of reinvesting every dollar we made. This wasn't just a business. It was our life's work. It was supposed to be Jordan's inheritance, and now he was taking it, not waiting for me to die, not asking if I was ready to step aside, just taking it, using lawyers and legal terms and a system designed to protect vulnerable old people. I was 63 years old. I could still outwork men half my age. I could tell you every boat in this marina by name, every member's family history, every pipe and valve and electrical line in every building. My mind was sharp as the day Catherine and I signed the mortgage on this place. But none of that mattered if a judge decided otherwise. I picked up my phone again. This time, I didn't call my son. I called Frank Sullivan. We'd been friends since college, built this marina together back when we were young and stupid and thought hard work was all you needed. He answered on the second ring. "Frank," I said. My voice sounded strange, distant. "I need you to come to the marina, now." "What's wrong?" I looked down at the petition on my desk, at my son's name in the petitioner line. "Everything," I said. "Everything's wrong." I had 2 days to stop him. Before I could think about fighting back, I needed to understand how I'd missed it, how I'd handed my son the weapon he was using against me. 6 months earlier, November, Jordan showed up at the marina on a gray afternoon, the kind of day when the harbor looks like old steel. I hadn't seen him in almost a year, hadn't even known he was coming. The woman with him was elegant in that careful way that costs money. Dark hair, designer coat, practiced smile. "Dad," Jordan said, "this is Natasha, my wife." Wife. He'd gotten married without telling me. It was small, city hall. We didn't want to fuss. He stepped forward. I'm sorry. I should have called. But I'm here now and I want to fix things. I wanted to believe him. Natasha shook my hand. Mr. Donnelly Jordan's told me so much about this place. It's beautiful. They stayed through the week. Jordan asked questions about the business, membership management, maintenance costs, which slips were most profitable. I want to learn, he said. This place is my heritage. I want to be part of it. Catherine would have been cautious. But Catherine was gone, and I was tired of running the marina alone. When Jordan said he wanted to help, I gave him a title, Director of Operations. That's when he brought up estate planning. Dad, you're 63. Have you thought about succession? About what happens if something happens to you? We were in my office. Late afternoon winter sun already setting. I have a will, I said. But no power of attorney, no healthcare proxy. Jordan leaned forward. If something happened tomorrow, everything would be frozen. The marina, your accounts. It could take months to sort out. Nothing's going to happen tomorrow. I hope not, but wouldn't it be smart to have a plan? Natasha nodded from the window. My father did the same thing. It gave him peace of mind. Jordan pulled out papers his lawyer had already drawn up. Standard documents, he said, just giving him authority to handle things if I became unable. Temporary. Protective. I'm not trying to take anything from you, Dad. I'm trying to protect what you've built. Carol was at her desk in the outer office. I saw her look up when I reached for the pen. Saw something in her expression, a tightness around her mouth. She'd worked for Catherine and me for 15 years, but she didn't say anything, just watched as I signed my name. There, I said, handing the pen back. All set. Jordan smiled. Thanks, Dad. You won't regret this. They left together, and I remember thinking how nice it was to have my son back. To feel like a father again, instead of just an old man alone. Carol was putting on her coat when I walked past her desk. Mr. Donnelly, she said quietly. Be careful. Of what? She hesitated, shook her head. Nothing, I'll see you tomorrow. I should have asked what she meant, should have trusted the instinct that made her speak up. But I was too happy having Jordan home. Now sitting in my office with that conservatorship petition in front of me, I understood what Carol had seen. I handed him the pen. How could I have been so blind? Frank's truck pulled into the marina parking lot 20 minutes later. He must have broken every speed limit between Providence and Newport. He came through my office door like a storm, all silver hair and 65 years of loyalty wearing a Yankees cap. My college roommate, my business partner for the first decade. My friend through everything. He took one look at my face and said, "Show me." I handed him the petition. He read it standing up, his jaw getting tighter with every line. When he finished, he dropped it on my desk like it burned. This is professional work. Jordan didn't write this alone. I know. Frank pulled out his phone. I know someone. Lawyer. Patricia Graham. Handles this kind of thing. He was already dialing, putting it on speaker. Frank. A woman's voice sharp and efficient. What do you need? Conservatorship petition. Filed by a son against his father. Emergency hearing in 2 days. Who's the father? Charles Donnelly, runs Donnelly Marina, 63 sharp as they come. His son just tried to take everything. Let me guess, Patricia said. Claims of declining mental capacity. Erratic business decisions. You've seen this before, I said. More often than you'd think, Mr. Donnelly. Courts take these petitions seriously. Judges err on the side of caution with elderly petitioners. They'd rather grant a temporary conservatorship and sort it out later than risk an incompetent person making devastating decisions. I'm not incompetent. I believe you, but we need to prove it. Fast. Papers rustled on her end. 2 days until the hearing. Thursday, 9 a.m. That's tight. First psychiatric evaluation. I can arrange it for today. Second character witnesses. People who can testify you're running that marina perfectly. Third financial record showing your business decisions are sound. Frank leaned toward the phone. Can Charles talk to his son? Absolutely not. Patricia's voice went hard. Mr. Donnelly, do not contact your son. Don't call, text, or show up at his door. Anything you say can be twisted into evidence of agitation or confusion. You need to appear calm, rational, and stable. He's my son. Right now, he's the opposing party in a legal proceeding. The words hit like a fist. Opposing party. Not my son. What are our chances? I asked. If we prove you're competent and the petition is frivolous, we can get it dismissed. But temporary orders are common. The judge might grant interim conservatorship while investigating. That would give your son control until we reverse it. How long? Weeks, maybe months? I don't have months. Then we work fast. Frank, get me everything. Medical records, business, financials, letters of support. I'll draft the response. Mr. Donnelly, can you get to a psychiatrist this afternoon? I'll drive him, Frank said. Good. Call me after. Patricia paused. Mr. Donnelly, you're not alone in this. The call ended. Frank and I sat in silence. Through the window, the harbor looked normal, boats rocking gently. The world unchanged while mine fell apart. We'll beat this, Frank said. He planned it 6 months ago. The estate planning the power of attorney. He set me up. Then he made a mistake. What mistake? He forgot you've got people who'll fight for you. By noon, we had a plan. Medical evaluation scheduled. Character witnesses lined up. Financial records pulled. Patricia drafting our response. But we didn't know yet how deep Jordan's desperation ran. At 2 o'clock that afternoon, Carol Anderson knocked on my office door like she was confessing to a crime. I was still at my desk, surrounded by papers Frank and I had pulled together. Medical records, financial statements, the evidence of a life lived well reduced to documents for a judge. Mr. Donnelly, Carol said. Her voice was quiet. I need to tell you something. I should have told you sooner. She'd worked at the marina for 15 years, started when Catherine was still alive. I trusted her the way you trust someone who's been there through everything. What is it, Carol? She closed the door behind her, sat down. Her hands were shaking. I'm not just an employee, she said. I never was. I waited. 5 years ago, Mrs. Catherine hired me. But not for bookkeeping. Carol met my eyes. She hired me as a private investigator. The words didn't make sense. What? I was a PI for 12 years before I came here. Mrs. Catherine had concerns about Jordan, about how he'd react when she was gone. She wanted someone watching, someone documenting. My throat felt tight. Catherine knew. She suspected. She saw things you didn't want to see. Carol opened the folder she'd brought. Inside were printouts, screenshots, dates stamped on every page. I've been monitoring his activity for 3 years. His laptop, his phone records his meetings. She spread papers across my desk. Mr. Donnelly, he's been planning this since before he came back last November. I looked at the first page, a search history from Jordan's laptop. The date was 3 years ago. Conservatorship requirements, Rhode Island. Elderly parent incompetent criteria. Power of attorney exploitation legal. Page after page, searches, research, planning. He studied this, Carol said quietly. For years, the documents he brought you in November. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was building a case. My hands were cold. I'd thought the petition was desperation, a rash decision. But this was different. This was methodical, patient, calculated. Why didn't you tell me? Mrs. Catherine made me promise. She said you'd never believe your son could do this, not until he actually did it. Carol's voice was soft. If I'd come to you 6 months ago and said Jordan was researching how to take the marina, would you have listened? No, I wouldn't have. I would have made excuses. Catherine had known me too well. She left you something, Carol said. She pulled out a sealed envelope, Catherine's handwriting across the front. Just my name, Charles. She gave this to me the week before she died, told me to keep it safe, to only give it to you if Jordan ever tried to take the marina. Carol's eyes were wet. She said, he'll need to know I saw this coming, that I tried to protect him. I took the envelope. My hands were shaking now too. There's one more thing. Mrs. Catherine changed her will 3 weeks before she passed. I witnessed it. Her lawyer has instructions. If there's a conservatorship proceeding, he's supposed to open it immediately. The sun was starting to sink toward the horizon outside my window. Thank you, Carol. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. You kept your promise to her. That's what mattered. After Carol left, I sat with Catherine's letter in my hands. I couldn't open it there. Not in the office with phones ringing and people walking past. I walked down to the water, to the bench we'd put there after she died, the one that faced east so she could watch the sunrise. Her name on a small brass plaque, Catherine Marie Donnelly. She loved the sunrise. I sat there as the sun began to set. Whatever was inside, I needed to be alone. The evening light was fading as I opened Catherine's letter. My hands shook. The envelope was sealed with dark blue wax, our wedding color, Her handwriting hadn't changed, perfect loops and curves. Just seeing it made my throat tight. My darling Charles. If you're reading this, Jordan has done what I feared. And you're probably wondering how you missed it, wondering if you failed him as a father. Stop. You didn't fail him. You gave him every chance, every opportunity, every benefit of every doubt. But some people choose the easy wrong over the hard right. Every single time. Jordan has failed at multiple business ventures over the years. I've watched, I've kept records. He's drowning in debt he won't admit to anyone, maybe not even himself. Drowning people don't think clearly, they grab at anything. They pull down whoever's closest. That's what makes desperation so dangerous. I had to stop reading, put the letter down, look at the water. She'd known. For years she'd known, and she'd carried that weight alone, because she knew I wouldn't believe her. I picked the letter back up. I know what you're thinking, that I should have told you, but you would have made excuses for him, said he just needs time. That family means giving people chances. You'd be right to think that way. That's who you are. That's why I loved you. But that's also why I couldn't tell you. Because your faith in people is your strength and your weakness. Jordan knows exactly how to use it against you. So I did what I could. I hired someone to watch, to document. Carol Anderson is more than she seems. Trust her. I've set legal protections in place, things Jordan doesn't know about. Things that will activate if he tries what I think he'll try. Trust Frank, he loves you like a brother. And trust yourself, Charles. You're not losing your mind. You're not incompetent. You're not too old. You built something beautiful from nothing, and you have every right to protect it. Don't let anyone, not even our son, make you believe otherwise. The sun was almost gone. The harbor was turning dark. I'm sorry I'm not there to stand beside you, but you're not really alone. You never were. I love you. I always did. I always will. Catherine. I sat there as the tears came. The first tears since her funeral. I'd held myself together for 5 years. But reading her words, knowing she'd tried to protect me even after she was gone, something broke open. She'd loved me enough to prepare for the worst. To make sure I'd have weapons I didn't know existed, I wiped my eyes, turned the page. There was a postscript, dated 1 week before she died. P.S. Charles, I changed my will 3 weeks ago. My lawyer has the new version. I've added protections you won't understand until you need them. If Jordan comes for the marina, and I believe he will, he'll find I protected it in ways he can't imagine. He thinks he's smarter than us. Let him keep thinking that. All my love, K. I folded the letter carefully, put it back in the envelope, sat in the gathering dark. Catherine had known. She'd prepared. She'd fought for me before the fight even started. And she'd left me one more weapon, a will change Jordan didn't know about. Protection he couldn't see coming. I stood up, touched the brass plaque on the bench. Catherine Marie Donnelly. She loved the sunrise. Thank you, I whispered. The harbor was dark now, but I wasn't afraid of the dark anymore. Thank you for staying with me this far. I need to say this before we continue. The next part includes financial fraud, criminal investigations, and a courtroom showdown. Some details have been adjusted for privacy and clarity. It's not a perfect retelling, but it's my truth. If hearing about a father losing his son isn't something you want today, I understand. You can stop here and carry Catherine's words with you instead. Patricia's call woke me Wednesday morning at 7. I'd fallen asleep on the couch, Catherine's letter still in my hand. Charles? Her voice was tight, professional but strained. I have the financial records. It's worse than we thought. I sat up. My back ached. How much worse? Get coffee. You're going to need it. I walked to the kitchen, put the phone on speaker, started the machine. I'm listening. I pulled court records from 3 states. Your son has been busy. Papers rustled on her end. 4 major business failures in 7 years. Each one bigger than the last. The coffee maker hissed and gurgled. First one age 25, tech startup, Naughty Tech Solutions, some kind of boat maintenance app. He raised $500,000 from angel investors. Some were Marina members, Charles, people who trusted him because of your name. My stomach turned. Company lasted 18 months. Burned through the money on office space salaries. Product never launched. Investors got nothing. I didn't know. He didn't tell you. Next one, age 27, real estate. He bought 3 properties in Newport with $800,000 in loans. Planned to flip them. This was 2019 peak market. Then COVID hit in 2020. Market crashed. He couldn't sell. Banks foreclosed on all 3. The coffee was ready. I poured a cup. Didn't drink it. Just held it. Age 29, 3 years ago. Patricia's voice dropped. Investment fund. Donnelly digital assets, cryptocurrency. He told investors he had special knowledge, promised high returns, raised $800,000 from 12 people. He lost it, most of it. Reckless trades, didn't understand what he was doing. When crypto crashed in 2022, the fund collapsed, lost 85%. 7 investors are suing him. Charles, one of them, is Eleanor Walsh. I set the coffee down. Eleanor from the sailing school. She invested $80,000, her entire retirement savings. She's 74 years old. She trusted Jordan because he's your son. The kitchen felt too small. I walked to the window, looked out at the marina, at Eleanor's sailing school at the far end of the dock. How much does she have left? About $12,000. I couldn't speak. Last year, restaurant franchise, upscale seafood place downtown. He invested $400,000. Borrowed it using false statements about inheriting the marina. Told the bank he was your successor. That's fraud. Yes, restaurant closed after 8 months. Poor management. He's still paying equipment leases. $4,000 a month he doesn't have. Patricia paused. Total debt $2.84 million. Bank loans. Private investors demanding repayment. Credit card debt. IRS back taxes because he didn't pay during the failing years. Collections agencies calling. 7 active lawsuits. Charles, he's drowning. Has been for years. I thought about Jordan showing up in November. The charm, the talk about family, the estate planning documents already prepared. He hadn't come home to reconnect. He'd come home because he was out of options. The marina was his life raft, I said. His only one. And when you're drowning, you don't care who you pull under. Patricia's voice turned grim. But here's the thing. Jordan didn't just rack up debt. He made connections, specifically one connection. What do you mean? There's a pattern in his financial records. Wire transfers over the past year, regular payments to a company I didn't recognize. When I found out who owns it, everything clicked. My hand tightened on the phone. Charles, there's one more name in these records, and when you hear it, you'll understand this isn't just about a desperate son. This is criminal conspiracy. By Wednesday afternoon, Frank's connections had delivered. He walked into my office with a folder, thick enough to stop a door. Vincent DeLuca, he said, dropping it on my desk. 58 years old, real estate developer, and one of the biggest reasons the FBI has a white-collar crime division. I opened the folder, sharp suit, silver hair, smile that probably charmed city councils and intimidated property owners in equal measure. He operates in 3 states, same pattern everywhere. Frank pulled out pages. He finds valuable property owned by someone vulnerable. Elderly owners, people in debt, makes lowball offers. When they refuse, things start happening. What kind of things? The kind prosecutors have trouble proving. Florida strip mall had a fire after the owner refused his offer. Jersey warehouse, same story. Property sells months later for half its value. Frank's jaw was tight. 20 years, never been charged. I looked at development plans, architectural renderings. Where our marina stood, there was a glass tower, 40 stories, luxury condos. This is what he wants. Mixed-use development, residential, retail, private club. Frank tapped the image. Casino license application. Rhode Island just opened gaming permits. DeLuca's been positioning for 2 years. How much? Project budget $180 million. I felt sick. 40 years reduced to dirt beneath someone's tower. And Jordan? Frank pulled out wire transfers. $3 million as a finder's fee. Once the sale goes through, Jordan walks away debt-free. If it goes through, that's why the conservatorship. If DeLuca can't buy from you, he buys from whoever's managing your affairs. Frank pulled out his phone. I called someone, FBI. Agent Thomas Burke. He's been watching DeLuca for 2 years. He dialed. Speaker. Burke. Tom, it's Frank Sullivan. I've got Charles Donnelly here. Mr. Donnelly. Burke's tone shifted. I'm sorry you're caught up in this. Vincent DeLuca is bad news. We've been building a case for 2 years. Problem is, he's smart. Uses intermediaries. If your son's working with him, that makes Jordan either a witness or a co-conspirator. My son's desperate, not a criminal. Desperation makes people do criminal things. The wire transfers between Jordan and DeLuca's shell company. That's evidence. The conservatorship filing after those payments, that's pattern. If we can prove coordination, that's conspiracy to commit fraud. Can you stop him? We're watching, but we need time. Days, maybe weeks. The hearing is tomorrow morning. Win that hearing? Keep control of your property. Once you do, we can move on to Luca. But if he gets the marina through conservatorship, it'll take months to unwind. By then, you'll never get it back. The call ended. Frank and I sat in silence. Through the window, the marina looked peaceful. The hearing is tomorrow at 9, Frank said. Less than 24 hours. My phone buzzed on the desk. A number I'd been avoiding all day. I looked at Frank. He looked at the phone. You going to answer that? He asked. I stared at the screen. Less than 24 hours until I faced Jordan in court. But he wanted to talk now. For 3 seconds I considered not answering. Then I pressed accept. Because some conversations you can't avoid forever. Dad. Jordan's voice. The same voice that had called me from college. From the hospital when Catherine died. But it didn't sound the same now. Jordan, we need to talk before tomorrow. I walked outside, down to the dock. The sun was setting over the water. It felt wrong, all that beauty with this conversation about to happen. I'm listening. I don't want this to go to court. It doesn't have to be like this. Then drop the petition. Dad, I can't. I'm in too deep with DeLuca. I know everything, the debt, the businesses, Eleanor's retirement money. Then you understand. I'm drowning. I need this. You needed help. You should have asked, Jordan laughed, sharp, bitter. Asked for help. Like when the startup failed, you said, learn from your mistakes. Like when the real estate crashed, you said, I told you the market was overvalued. You don't help Dad. You lecture. You judge. That's not fair. Isn't it every time I've tried something, you've had some lesson ready? Some way to remind me I'm not as smart as you, not as successful. My throat felt tight. I would have given you the money, all of it. Liar. Jordan's voice turned cold. You would have given me a loan, with terms, with conditions, with quarterly check-ins to make sure I was being responsible. I'm not asking Daddy for an allowance. So you stole from Eleanor instead, from people who trusted you because of my name. That's business. They knew the risks. She's 74 years old. She trusted you. She made a bad investment. That's on her. I couldn't speak for a moment, just stood there listening to my son justify taking an elderly woman's life savings. You tried to take the marina, Catherine's legacy. It should be mine anyway. I'm your only son. Why should I wait for you to die? Because it's not yours. It never was. Then maybe you should step aside, retire, let someone younger run things. Someone like you who can't run anything without losing it. Silence. Then Jordan's voice came back. Different, harder. You're right. I can't run anything. I'm the failure son. The disappointment. I know what you think of me, that I'm not good enough, not you. Jordan, I'm done trying to be you. I'm done waiting for your approval. That marina is worth $42 million, and I'm going to get my share whether you like it or not. You're not getting anything. You're not my son anymore. The words came out before I could stop them. But once they were said, I realized I meant them. Silence. Long enough I thought he'd hung up. Then, good. His voice was empty. Flat. Because I don't need you. I don't need your marina. I don't need your approval. I'll see you in court, old man. And when I win, I'll sell that place so fast your head will spin. The line went dead. I stood there as the sun finished setting. The harbor went dark. The boats rocked gently, unaware that everything had just changed. Jordan wanted war. But he'd forgotten something. I'd been fighting for this place for 40 years. He'd been fighting for 40 minutes. The Newport County Courthouse smelled like floor polish and old wood. I walked through metal detectors Thursday morning and saw Jordan already seated with his lawyers, Natasha beside him. Both calm, confident. The gallery was packed. Eleanor Walsh, Nicole Parker, Carol Anderson, Frank Sullivan, Marina members who'd known me for decades. Judge Martinez called the hearing to order. Jordan's lawyer stood. Your Honor, Mr. Charles Donnelly shows signs of cognitive decline. At 63, managing a $42 million asset requires capacity he may no longer possess. We seek conservatorship to protect the family legacy. Patricia rose. Your Honor, we have a psychiatric evaluation. Dr. Howard examined Mr. Donnelly extensively. Results show perfect cognitive function. No impairment. She submitted the report. Furthermore, Patricia continued, we have evidence this petition is predatory. Carol Anderson took the stand. Showed laptop searches Jordan made 3 years ago. Conservatorship requirements, elderly incompetence, power of attorney exploitation. This was a 3-year plan, Carol said. The judge's expression hardened. Then Eleanor Walsh testified. 74 years old, hands shaking. He told me his fund was safe. I trusted him because he's Mr. Donnelly's son. I gave him $80,000, my retirement. Her voice broke. I have $12,000 left. The courtroom went silent. Patricia stood again. Your Honor, one final document. Catherine Donnelly's will. She read, if any conservatorship claim is filed against Charles Donnelly by a family member, Donnelly Marina transfers immediately to a community trust. Family members receive 0. Jordan went pale. Your petition triggered this clause the moment you filed, Patricia said. You've already lost. The marina isn't yours. It never will be. Judge Martinez looked at Jordan, then at me. Petition denied. Mr. Charles Donnelly retains full control. The gavel fell. Agent Burke stood from the back. Jordan Donnelly, Vincent DeLuca, Natasha Donnelly, you're under arrest. Conspiracy to commit fraud, wire fraud, elder financial abuse. Jordan looked at me as they cuffed him. His mouth opened. I looked away. 6 months later, I sat at Catherine's bench watching the October sunrise. Jordan got 7 years federal prison. DeLuca, 15. Natasha, 3. The marina belonged to the community trust now. I managed it, but couldn't sell it. Catherine had made sure. I'd paid Eleanor and Nicole back from my savings. $80,000 to Eleanor. 40 to Nicole. Not legally required, but Catherine would have wanted it. Jordan sent one letter from prison 3 months ago. Dad, I'm sorry, I was drowning and couldn't ask for help. I understand if you never forgive me. I hadn't replied, hadn't visited, didn't know if I ever would. Frank stopped by most mornings. Yesterday he said, you were a good father. I didn't answer. Just watched the boats. I'd won. The marina was safe. The community protected. Catherine's legacy preserved. But I'd lost my son. Not to prison. I'd lost him long before that. Lost him to desperation, to greed, to whatever makes a man choose the easy wrong over the hard right. Catherine had known. She'd tried to warn me, protected me even after she was gone. I touched the brass plaque on the bench. Catherine Marie Donnelly. She loved the sunrise. Thank you, I whispered. The sun came up anyway, like it always would. Painting the water gold, what you protect, what you sacrifice, and what you learn to live without. That's my story. That's what 40 years of building can come down to when you don't see the warning signs in time. If you're listening to this, especially if you're a father, a grandfather, someone who's built something with your own hands, don't be like me. Don't mistake silence for respect. Don't mistake distance for independence. And don't ever sign something just because the person asking is family. Here's what I learned, and I pray to God. You won't have to learn it the hard way, like I did. First, trust is earned, not inherited. Just because someone carries your last name doesn't mean they carry your values. Second, protect what you've built legally, financially, and emotionally. Catherine knew this. She saw what I couldn't. Thank God she had the wisdom to prepare even when I was blind. Third, listen to the people who've been loyal. Frank, Carol, Eleanor. They saw Jordan's pattern before I did. Pride made me deaf. Don't let pride silence the voices that love you. These grandpa stories aren't easy to tell. But family stories like mine need to be shared so others don't walk the same painful road. That's why I share these grandpa stories, not for sympathy, but for warning. These family stories carry lessons that only come from loss. If you're facing something similar, a child in debt, a relative pressuring you, a business partner acting strange, please, in God's name, get help. Talk to a lawyer. Talk to your bank. Talk to someone you trust outside the family. Don't wait for a court summons to realize you're in danger. Catherine used to say, God gave us wisdom, so we'd use it, not ignore it. I ignored mine. I hope you won't. To everyone who stayed until the end, thank you. Share this if you know someone who needs to hear it. These family stories, these grandpa stories, they're all we have to pass down, besides property. Final note. This story contains dramatized storytelling elements for educational purposes. Some details are fictionalized, but the core lessons about recognizing financial and emotional abuse are real. If this style doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. Please seek content that better fits your needs.